Good evening, roommates. Good evening. Come on in. Come on in. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, hello. Hey, roommates. Come on in. Sorry for being a little late. Good evening. Come on in. I have to remember to mute my computer at times. Hey y'all, come on in. Happy Wednesday. Hello, hello. Hi there. Hey Brown Fox. Hey Brown Fox. Come on in, come on in. Happy Wednesday. How are you all doing out there tonight? Hey, bestie, I see you. Tasha saying hello to her bestie and to the roommates. Happy, happy, happy Wednesday. So, I know I say to y'all all the time, like, it feels like it's been a long week and it's just like midweek. Hey, Facebook, I see you guys chiming in. Come on in. Yes, I have a new look. I done cut my hair back short. Super excited about that process. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, sister. How are you, Sean? Good to see you. Love you. Come on in, roommates. Good to see y'all. Come on in. Come on in. All right, guys, we are going to jump in to tonight's segment. I know I was late, y'all, getting on, one, and two, I was late, like uploading our stuff. I should have did it yesterday. I make no excuses other than prioritizing things, and you all are definitely a priority. So welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. So before we start tonight's conversation, it's a couple of acknowledgements that I want to make. So I would be really remiss not to say happy 31st heavenly birthday to my eldest nephew on my mom's side. My oldest sister son would have made 31 today. And every March 19th, you know, I'm instantly reminded that it's his birthday. And since he has transitioned, I'm extra reminded. So I'm always a little bit in my feelings because that was just my baby always. That was my first nephew. Hey, Crystal. First nephew, again, that my mother's child had. So, yeah, my baby would have been 31 today. So, happy birthday, Lavani. I love you, and we miss you so much. I want to say to my sister, Zani, and my nieces and nephews that earth has no sorrows that heaven cannot heal. You know, I know it's a tough thing to lose your loved ones. I don't know anything about being in that realm of losing a child, but I know the grief must stick with you at all times. So, sister, nieces, nephews, and all of my family members, because we loved Lavani so much, you know, today we celebrate him, and I'm happy that he was born to our family because he was such a sweetheart from the beginning to the end. But did any of you guys think or know, like, I thought, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I love being transparent. I thought that earth has no sorrows, that heaven cannot heal. I thought that was a Bible verse, right? We hear that so much. But actually what I learned in studying and wanting to actually reference the biblical verse, I learned that, hey, Auntie, Oh, Auntie Lee called me today, Phoenix. So, yeah. But anyway, remind me to tell you that conversation. But it is actually that phrase, earth has no sorrow, that heaven cannot heal, is not a Bible verse. In fact, it's a quote from an Irish poet by the name of Thomas More. So that actual scripture will not be found in the Bible. I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. But hey, you learn something new every day. So an Irish poet by the name of Thomas More, put that popular line that earth has no sorrows that heaven cannot heal in one of his poems. And now we say it all the time, right? We say it at funerals and stuff like that. But that is such a powerful statement because I truly believe that. I truly believe that all of our strength and everything that we do and everything that we go through, we can be healed in God. So that's number one. Happy 31st birthday to my nephew in heaven. And then the other thing that I want to acknowledge today is that March, every month is some sort of national recognition month. And so I want to celebrate and shout out the fact that March is National Women's History Month. And so I want to say to all of the women, all of my roommates, all of the women that I know, happy Women's Month to you all. But I do want to also pose a question to my roommates. And I want to ask you all, who is the woman, whether here with us today or not, that inspires you or have inspired your life the most? I would love to hear from you on that. Who is the woman that has inspired you in your life the most? And while you think about, thank you, Crystal, for saying happy birthday, Crystal and Kalila, to my baby. But while you think about that, I'll share with you guys really briefly who is the woman that inspired me all of my life and all of my years. So I was raised by my grandmother. Those of you who know, you know. And my grandmother, she has played such a pivotal role in my life. I got the opportunity to watch her, one, take care of my siblings and I when our mother couldn't. And then two, I watched her build a village around those people in the community that we lived in. And so she was a staple. She had so many pet names that stuck with her. She was Grandma Dynamite, and she had all type of names. I ain't gonna call them all out because you guys, if you know her character, you know she was something else. But she taught me community. She taught me to take care of people that are around us and people who are in need. And, last week, if you watched the roundtable, with me and some of my fellow social work sisters, we kind of talked about those people in our lives, whether officially or unofficially influenced our work as social workers. And I talked about just people in the community, but I was reminded by one of my panelists that, her family taught her about community. And so I thought that I would definitely give Ms. Watson a shout out because she taught me community. She taught me how to care for others and not to look for anything in return, and just to genuinely have a good heart. So I have so many unofficial family members, non-blood members that has been so good to me. And it all started because of my grandmother. So today I want to salute Miss Evelyn Watson for the tremendous work she done in our lives, not just the Watson bloodline, but also to those, hey Black, I see you, love you, but to those in our community that she took in without a shadow of a doubt, without a question, without looking for anything in return. Plenty of people she helped out, so I salute Miss Watson. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, she was a beautiful person. Do you guys have any women that you want to shout out that has inspired you, the work that you do, the person that you are? So I have on Instagram. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. Y'all can catch up. I got some rest in peace and happy birthday to Lavani. Thank you for that, Brown Fox. Also, I have Brown Fox is saying that her mother, Cynthia Blewett, is the person who inspired her to be all that she could be and the person that she is today. And then Miss Tasha, 29, my fave, you know, you really get on my nerves because I think you're going to be the one to make me cry on this platform one of these days. And so she says that the two women that inspire her is her mother, first and foremost, and then me. I mean, how wonderful. Thank you. I'm so happy to serve in such a capacity, because to be an inspiration to people should never, ever, ever be taken lightly. We should never, ever step out of context when people are looking at us in certain roles, right? So I am so excited about that. Black just confirmed what I said on Facebook, y'all, as far as Grandma Dynamite. I think he probably was the one who gave her that name. But yeah, Grandma Dynamite is who, she got that nickname in the community. Hey, Danny, love you, girl. She says her grandmother, Arnella, for sure is the person that has inspired the woman that she has become. And then Miss Scott. Oh, Miss Scott was an amazing lady. That's from the Scott family, Kalila and Crystal Nim. Yes, you all's grandmother too was such a beautiful staple. And for anybody that's just not joining us, guys, we are just before we go into tonight's discussion and conversation, we just were really saluting women during this National Women's History Month. And we were just really shouting out the women in our lives that has inspired who we are and just inspire how we move. So thank you guys for sharing that and for sharing your stories. I really appreciate that. All right, y'all. So, tonight, roommates, we gonna talk about detachment. And it's crazy because we got the week when, if I don't have a guest, I really want to offer to my roommates and to this platform topics of discussion that is going to be meaningful for people. And so it's not just about what I want to talk about. It's things that I hear you guys talk about. It's things that I see up and down the different timelines that I'm a part of. It's things, it's things that people say, hey, why don't you talk about this? I would love to hear a little bit more about that. We have some wonderful guests that are going to be joining us, beginning next week and throughout the rest of this year, where we're going to have more roundtables like you guys witnessed with the social work roundtable last week. And I'm going to have more sit down one-on-one conversations with people. So just really stay tuned, because I am listening. I do hear what you guys are saying, and I'm really appreciative for what you guys are saying. Sean says her mom and her grandma has inspired the woman she's become. And then Auntie Lee says that her daughters, Muffin and Sheila, have been inspirations to her. I love that. I love the fact that a mother can be inspired by her child. Actually, I'm inspired by my children as well sometimes. Hopefully when they get as old as yours, Lee, I could draw more inspiration from them. But yeah. Okay, so today we're going to talk about detachment, right? And so I need y'all to chime in, guys, because I want this to be more of a conversation. And I thought about, actually God laid it on my lap and was like, you know what? Offer your roommates the opportunity to join the live and ask any questions. So moving forward, no pressure. It will be a first for the platform. If you guys feel inclined to join any of the lives to ask a question, to give your statement, I would be willing to accept you, and then everybody will hear from you. But in the meantime, if you're camera shy, like all of my guests are, and I am too, believe it or not, hey Boosie, then you can just drop your comments in the chat, okay? All right, cool. Let's get started. So, of course, y'all know I wasn't going to say all of that and get started without giving a biblical reference. So, of course, our biblical reference is focused on detachment. So, our reference is going to come from Romans 12 and 19. And Romans 12 and 19 advises us, Christians, to never avenge yourselves, yet leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. Now, let's be very clear. As we talk about detachment, it will not necessarily be specific to a specific set of attachment, right? It won't all be romantically based, detaching from a romantic partner. Detachment comes in all shape, form, and fashions. Unfortunately, a lot lately, I see you guys talking about, how you have to detach from your family members or how you're losing friends and things like that. So I do want you all to be reminded, hey King, I want you all to be reminded that when we talk, we ain't bashing nobody. We're just picking up tools to drop in our toolbox to be okay when we are in situations. And tonight, the situation is detachment, detaching from stuff. So you asked the question, and I'll ask you, how do you detach? This is a very specific question to my roommates. How do you detach from something that you are attached to that is no longer serving a purpose in your life? Because remember, we're living purpose-driven lives, right? We're being intentional about the things that we do for ourselves, the way we allow people to treat us, the way that we are becoming, right? Because I told y'all about that book, Becoming. And what essentially that book says is that we never actually arrive. We're constantly becoming someone new. And that doesn't mean switching up when you with a different crowd. Let's be very clear. That means becoming the person you desire to be in public and in private, okay? Ain't no front, ain't no taking off no mask at the end of the night. You can lay down comfortably knowing that, hey, this is who I am. And people will either take me as I am or not at all, right? So how do you detach? Okay. Hey, I love this. So my sister Boosie is saying that this episode is for her. You know what I mean? She's in a season of detachment. Okay, well, I hope you are blessed, okay? Jermaine Harvey is saying that it has been 3 months since he detached himself from alcohol. Now, you know what, y'all? I'm gonna stick a pin right there, right? And it doesn't even have to be alcohol. Thank you for sharing that. It doesn't even have to be alcohol, but just think about, I'm using his word of detachment from alcohol, but I'm going to insinuate, he didn't say this, that it's a possibility that he and many of us, because I know at some junctures in my life, and I'm going to talk about that in great detail relatively soon, but I had such an unhealthy relationship with alcohol that I had to detach. But the only way that I could detach, y'all, was I had to attach myself to something that was healthier, something that was more powerful, something that would outweigh me leaning on this bad habit when coping in stressful situations and situations that didn't suit me in the way that I thought they should suit me. So thank you for bringing that up. Congratulations to you, brother. That's what you got in the chat. And so, yes, in detachment, sometimes, guys, we have to make that decision to let go of people, places, and things if and when these things are no longer suiting us, or if it's keeping us bound in unhealthy situations. So a detachment from drugs and a detachment from alcohol, especially if you're codependent on it to function and you're addicted to it. Again, I'm not speaking to his circumstance because I don't know what his circumstance was. But when you are in those states of needing something to function, you have to find something to counteract. So it most times me, and Jermaine, I would love for you to jump in here. If you are detaching from alcohol, if you are detaching from drugs, or you're detaching from a bad habit, then what are you attaching onto? And you guys be having the answers. I'm just igniting the conversation. I know for me, when I hit my struggle and my bouts in those spaces, I had to go completely to God. But it wasn't just an ordinary prayer for me. When I needed to detach seriously from harmful things or harmful situations or harmful people, I had to like do more than just pray. I had to fast. Like I had to give up things and then go to the Word of God or go to prayer and go to these places to gain strength in the areas that I was weak, if that makes sense, right? So thank you for sharing that. Sean is saying that she cut off all lines of communication and access to her. Let me tell you something. You are the captain of your life. If something is not suiting you, you have the authority to appoint. You are the HR of your life. You have the authority to hire and fire, thus attach to or detach from anybody that is no longer serving you a purpose, right? At one point, it can be one of the greatest fits in the whole wide world. And this goes for the job. This goes for the friendships. This goes for relationships, failed relationships, romantically with your family. This goes for any relationship that you're in. You have the right to set boundaries, draw boundaries. Drawing boundaries is one of those things you must do, to draw that line in the sand to say, hey, if we can remain in a healthy relationship, then these are some of the boundaries that we must set. And setting boundaries are a two-way street. It's not just about, oh, you gonna do as I say or you can get on, right? But I do understand, Sean, the concept of cutting off all communication and even accessibility to oneself. Because if you got 1 foot in and 1 foot on a banana peel, you can easily slip and slide right back into the situation that is not the most suitable for you. Okay? So, and continue to please drop in the chat. How do you detach? Facebook, y'all on fire. Let me see if Live got anything for me. So, hey, beautiful. Good to see you. So I have over on Instagram, I have Miss Tasha29 saying prayer, creating healthy habits, and boundaries. We just said all of that. Before I click back over here. There's no miracle stick. Like literally, these are the rules to the playbook. I'm not rewriting them. You guys know what to do. But oftentimes we lose track of who we are and whose we are. And we allow people to do things to us that we just know is not cool, right? So we're detaching by praying. We're detaching by setting boundaries. We're detaching by creating healthier habits and alternatives to how we've, mostly been moving to begin with, right? And then, so tell me this. I'm gonna instead of say how do you detach, when do you know to detach, roommates? When do you know to detach from people, places, and things? And I'll give you guys an opportunity to respond to that. But I'll say this. We have to let people be who they want to be. And then we must decide if we want them to be a part of our lives. Again, no miracle stick. And we are all adults. I do have a few young adults that follow my platform, and I'm thankful for them because they be putting me on the game in other ways, okay? Y'all said y'all want to say about these millennials. Some of them, they all right with me. But the point that I am making, roommates, is that it's just, I'm saying it in a different way. We have to allow people to be who they are. We're too old to be trying to change folks, right? If you agree, drop a heart, drop a thumbs up, because the reality is you can't change anyone. You can't change anyone. The only thing you can do is be accountable for oneself and assert yourself in the ways that are going to be most profitable. And yes, I said profitable to you. Because to be in a relationship, it takes reciprocity, right? You do unto me as you would have me to do unto you. And we are able to give and receive. There's not more takers than there are receivers. Like it's reciprocity around these parts, right? And so that's the space that we ought to be in. So the question of how to detach is to accept people exactly for who they are. Do not look to change them, right? Acknowledge that, okay, this person, in fact, you probably to arm yourself, right? To arm yourself and to protect your feelings is probably going to be best that you arm yourself with that knowledge. Okay, I know that this person is stubborn. I know that this person, is not going to change for me. They haven't did it in 12 years. They haven't done it in the 19 months we've been consistently seeing one another. They haven't done it in as long as we've been family and we was born into the relationship, into the family together, right? So we have to be extremely mindful that it's not our jobs to change people. But what it is our jobs to do is, if you're in a relationship with them and that relationship means something to you, it is your responsibility to hold them accountable by letting them know things that may not align with who you are becoming and who you want to be and how you want to be treated. And set those boundaries around if we cannot come to terms, because to be in a relationship, it's mutual. You want to be here and I want to be here. But if we don't want to be here, we don't do the work to be here, right? So you create your boundaries and you do those things that you need to do to be okay in the relationship, okay? And then you make the choice. Is this relationship, it's not about, is the relationship worthy to fight for, right? I believe in giving people chances. Now, I may not believe in giving 1,000 chances as I have done in the past, or 100 chances. We're getting too old. We have more days behind us. I can count them 46 and a half that I already done had. But I don't know how many more days I have in front of me. So I say that to say that you are the captain of your life. You got to be willing to set those boundaries, draw the line in the sand, and to have people to treat you the way that you want to be treated, and to point out and be accountable in the relationships, right? One thing I want you guys to do, and I want you to understand in the phases of detachment, right? I want you guys to know that we have to trust that rejection is not always just bottom line rejection. It's funny because I had a private conversation with somebody in the last week, and I used this I hadn't even studied for tonight. I didn't even know that I was going to talk about detachment. I knew at some point I would, but I didn't know that it would be today. But the point that I am making is that, when you're going through and you feel like people are giving up on you, again, it doesn't matter who it is, and you're in that space of feeling rejected because you're pleading for someone to treat you well. You're going all out of your way to try to see, what is it going to take for you to treat me as well as I see you treat others, right? What is it? I'm trying to save us, right? Whoever us are, right? It's not, us is not just your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your husband and your wife. Us is your relationship with your children. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to detach from our kids. I ain't being flaky, I ain't being funky. Some of y'all know that for sure. Okay? Sometimes we have to detach from our brothers, from our sisters, from our cousins, from our aunties, from our uncles, from our mamas, from our daddies. We have to detach from the church sometimes. We have to detach. But in the detachment, sometimes it's involuntary. And when the detachment is involuntary, meaning that they left after you done all the fighting. And sometimes in that detachment, you feel like you're being rejected. And so I want to talk to my roommates. Come on over here. Get close. I want to talk to my roommates who are in a season of feeling rejected. Okay? I want to talk to you all because I know that feeling all too well, and rejection is used to be a trigger for me. I know better now. When you know better, you do better. Okay? But rejection is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a redirection that something bigger and better is going to come along. So remember, this ain't just your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your family or your friend group, right? This is also that job, right? You on a job working 10, 12, 20 years and they come along and they lay you off or fire you or do whatever they're going to do. All right? The rejection and all of that. But baby, that next door open is 5 times bigger than the one that just shut in your face. So I want to challenge my roommates with changing the mindset to look at rejection more than what we believe it to be at face value, and look at it as a protection mechanism. If something or someone or a situation or you are being rejected from a place and a space that you were once invited into, and now you're no longer on the invitation list, and I'm speaking metaphorically, just stick with me. Take it as a redirection that something bigger is going to happen, something better is going to happen. But also I want us to keep in mind that rejection sometimes is the biggest protection for your life. And in you being protected from that rejection, it's for you to grow up, glow up, and all that good stuff that we be saying. And sometimes it's to push you in that space of that uncomfortable space of isolation, so you can get to know yourself and you can get to know your higher being and your power. We have to reclaim our power. And although detachment doesn't feel good, because if we're detaching, we were once attached. And so there's some sort of love, there's some sort of loyalty, right? There's some sense of commitment. You're attached, and now you're in this process of detaching. So roommates, I want you guys to be very clear that we have to look at it from more perspective and perception than woe is me. Because sometimes it's not that it's happening to you. Come on now, roommates. Y'all almost made me say saints. It's what is happening for you. It's what's happening for you. Okay? And so Isha just really just solidified what I said. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Kanisha. I don't see you often here. Hey, my love. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happiness comes from self. Well, Jermaine, I'll challenge you a little bit there too. For joy comes from the Lord. And I know you a God-fearing man. Baby, I be seeing them posts. You be touching me at times. And I love that for you and me. So we have to be very mindful, roommates, and understand that rejection can be protection, redirection, all of that good stuff. But it also can set you up in this space and in this realm of reclaiming your life as you are going through the detachment process. Okay? All right, let's move on. Okay? Some people are only meant to be in your life for you to grow. So don't get hung up on being reminded by them, and don't be that person to remind them, oh, I've done this much for you. That's fine. That's fine. Let me tell you something. I have helped so many people in my life in different ways, and most of it has not been financially, but I'll say this, because let's be very clear. Oh, mama done lost some money in some relationships. But the point that I am making is that I left most people better off than the way that I found them. So when you are in a season of detachment from things, and oh God, thank you, from things, people, places, and things that you have invested in, and somebody drop in the chat for me. I need to hear from y'all, roommates. What's the difference between being invested in someone and being invested in someone? May seem like a very minimum question, but help me understand, roommates, though I know, but Boy, don't nothing burn you up more than don't nothing burn you up more than be invested in somebody, honey. Lending your time, your talents, your treasures, you know, your temple, okay, to them in their journey and helping them grow through whatever they need to grow through. And then they ready to leave you. Because now they got their glow up. They done leveled up off you, roommates. And now you feel it in the pit of your stomach. You feel like, I done all this for this person. And now they got the nerves to be leaving. No. Can't nobody use you but God. I don't care how much money you gave them. I don't care if you gave them a place to stay when they had no place to stay. I don't care if you changed their lifestyle from living in the streets, and y'all know what I mean, working in the streets, to becoming a legit worker, showing them things that they have never, ever seen before, exposing them to people, places, and better things. Let me tell you something. You were being used by God. Nothing or no one can use you but God. Not nan person. So, roommates, I want you to be reminded that your purpose, when you are serving in the capacity that a person is in need, it does not go unlooked. God called David the adulterer, the murderer, he was one of the biggest murderers, but he saved the Israelites from the Galatians, right? And so he became king. Those of you who know, you know. I ain't gonna say I ain't gonna bore you, because baby, the Bible got some of the best stories you'll ever read, and I ain't never taking that back. But the point that I am making is God coined David as the one person who was after thine own heart, meaning he is God's own heart. And David done a bunch of stuff that was dirty, that was sinful. He, in some instances, he abused his power as king, but he was still a good man. And that's crazy, because y'all know, from where we from, as many people as we've lost to the streets and to the circumstances of the streets, no matter what, at the end of the day, those are family members. And a lot of times we see it on the news where people say that this person was a good person. They may have been a murderer. They may have been a robber. They may have been whatever. I ain't casting judgment on nobody on who does what, because we all got to answer to somebody at the end of this life. But I'll tell you this. They also was a good person. If a person can speak good on your name, then that's the impact that you had on them. That's why I'm big on, that wasn't my experience with such and so and so. I don't let no one else's feelings and experience cloud my judgment when it comes to me making relationships with people, because you guys have a history that I wasn't a part of. And I don't know why y'all got off course, but with all due respect, that don't have anything to do with me. And that person has never done anything to wrong me. And until they do so, I can't do nothing but respect the person that I've seen them be. Okay? All right. So I know I be getting off track sometimes, y'all, but it be feeling good. Okay? So remember that during your season of detachment, roommates, that sometimes that you were meant to help a person grow. And that's simply it. Everybody is not meant or is going to be in your life for a life sentence. Other than my best friend. She ain't got no choice. But no, honestly though. And be thankful that you can be used as a change agent. Right? Just be thankful that you can be used in that type of capacity. Hey, Audrey, my Cancer sister, that's my girl there. Okay. God's rejection is God's protection. When you realize your self-worth, baby, you will detach. You will detach quick, fast, and in a hurry. Okay. My best friend, she, you know, she pumping my head up to my girl. She heard somebody about me. I know. Okay. And so, yeah, guys, detachment, it can weigh on you, and it can be a bit much. God is in self. That's where the happiness is. That's why you can say happiness comes from self. I'm with you, brother. I ain't finna. Hey, I'm rolling with you. If you rocking, I'm rolling. When you talking about God, baby, look, I'm all up in that thing. You know, I'm definitely being used. And even before I really started my real walk with God, which started for me back in 2015, where I built a personal relationship with him. I always had what I thought was a relationship, but I'm talking about a personal relationship. I didn't get better. Like, you know, they say we get better with time, like fan wan. I didn't become a better version of me until I built a better relationship with God. And I learned that it wasn't even about me at all. Like, none of this stuff is about me. Even detachment. Yes, I've had to make hard decisions, but I think that most people that I have detached from, it was probably a mutual detachment for whatever reason. We all have our reasons. Some people just get tired of you. Some people can't watch you in your glow up, right? Some people, you know, you being at peace with yourself, you being comfortable in your skin, that irritates the demons that's inside of them. And I don't mean to call nobody demonic, but it flares up their insecurities. I'll call it that. I'm not here to call nobody demons. It flares up their insecurities, or it shows them, right? They're not utilizing the 24 hours that both of us got as an equal start, right? You're not utilizing your time the way I have. So sometimes people are just wanting to detach because they don't even want to see, they can't even take seeing you in your glow up and grow up area, right? Eras. So, all right. And then so when everything is seeming like it's falling apart in your relationships, that you seem like, okay, I got to get away from this, right? And again, this could be your job. This could be anything, right? What is it that you guys tend to do in detachment? Like I did hear a moment ago, but I feel like it's a couple more things out there. I did hear a moment ago, people saying cut off communication, cutting off accessibility. You got that right. You most certainly can do that. I'm going to backtrack really quickly because I asked a moment ago, like, what is the difference between like being vested in someone and being invested in someone? So being invested in someone it generally involves some sort of resources, whether it's finances, whether it's emotional, like, you know, you're emotionally invested. So maybe someone is going through a rough patch and you are invested in their well-being. So you are in the interest of them, you are going to do X, Y, and Z to get and to pull them out, or to be as supportive as you can as they are in that journey or on that journey of whatever emotional turmoil, financial turmoil, whatever they may be experiencing. So you may come in and invest your time, talent, resources, treasures, tempo for the sake of them, right? But what you receive in return from that investment is something that only you know what you're looking for, right? Because an investment generally means that we're looking for something in return. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Let me know if I'm lying, okay? Let's be very clear. When you are invested in someone in some capacity, you are looking for a return on that investment. So whether they, like, we're both invested in our children, right? We have our children. We send them to AAU camp. We do all of these things for them in hopes that they will become wonderful, productive, self-sufficient adults in this world. And so that is almost like a natural investment. But think about, roommates, think about those people, places, and things that you've invested in, right? You were seeking some sort of return on your investment. But my dear roommates, you ain't had a relationship until you had one that you were vested in. And when you're vested in a relationship, or you're vested in something, you're there for the outcome without looking for anything in return. And you're willing to help that person, or you're willing to do anything to aid and assist that person with attaining whatever that outcome is for them, not for you. So in this season of my life, I am looking for people who are not invested in me, but people who are vested in me, who wants to see the best for me, who will go above and beyond to check on me and make sure that my emotions are in check, and that and just doing health risk assessments on me when I get quiet, because I get quiet. You know, lately the most talking I do is on this platform. I don't call people. I don't show up to places. I don't do a lot of stuff like I used to. And it's just really because I'm listening and I'm being guided by my higher power. But back to the investment part of things, in this stage of my life, I only want to be surrounded by people who are vested in me, who has my best interests at heart. If that is not the case, roommates, and I need for you guys to be very transparent with yourselves. And you don't have to be transparent with me, and you don't have to be transparent on this platform. But transparency is key. Look yourself in the mirror, or look that other person in the eye that you are making the decision to detach from, and have those hard, tough conversations and just talk about some of these things. I'm giving you the tools. You may not say it like I said. It took me so much pain, tripping, falling, knocking my head, and rejection to get me in this space to be like, look, I understand you for who you are. I ain't trying to make you come from a perspective of me, because see, I know me and I know people. And so I'm accepting you at face value. But if it's something that doesn't align with who I am and where I'm going, I just have to set those boundaries and be like, yeah, we can kick it when we see each other at the baseball field, but you ain't coming nowhere with me. Let's just keep it real. And these are some people that at one point you would go to the moon with them. But you had to get on that journey of detachment simply because the relationship is losing its oomph, its respectability, its reciprocity, its respect. Okay? All right, roommates. And last but not least, before we go to our closing segment, one of the biggest ways to know how to, or to actually detach from anything that is no longer of servitude in your life is going to be, you must focus only and solely on those things that you can control. Now listen, we don't have no control over nothing that's going on in our lives, whether you want to believe it or not. Now, we do get free will. The Bible tells us that. God said, yep, I can choose to go to this school or that one. My choice, right? I can choose to go to work today or call off, okay? My choice. I can choose to go to this party tonight or stay home. My choice. But what happens when we are in any of those situations, in any of those rooms, in any of those spaces, in any of those relationships, you cannot control anything outside of yourself and a lot of things until you learn self-control. Remember we used to get the check marks? The kids still do. My son right now get a check and lack self-control every time. But I can't lie, I used to get it too because I talk too much. You know, I'm talking now with a purpose, but back then I just talk. But learning and knowing self-control is one thing. Exercising self-control is another thing. So when you learn how to accept everything that is going on in your world, and you can reach people and allow people to be who they are and who they want to be in your relationship, and if it suits you, you stay the course. You vest in you vest into that person. You be there for them. You attach to them the more. Great, genuine people who are willing to do anything for you does not come a dime a dozen. I thought it did in my earlier years, but I know they don't in my years today. Okay? So I'm not detaching from something that's good to me. I'm not detaching from someone that is respectful of me and my boundaries. I'm not detaching from someone who has my best interests at heart. I'm not detaching from someone that's trustworthy and loyal. I'm not. Because that stuff and those type of people are hard to come by. Okay? So, roommates, what I'm saying is focus on you in your relationships and in your situations. And when the situation is no longer suitable and your attachment is leaning towards detachment, trust your gut, go to God, make a conscious decision to do right by you. Even if that person, can't nobody hold on to you if you don't want to be held on to. Okay? All that he don't want to go nowhere, she don't want to go nowhere. You psyching yourself out. You psyching yourself out. No, you ain't kicked them out the door yet. Because the behaviors ain't changed. The quality of the relationship ain't changed. The investment ain't improved. The communication is piss poor. So you're staying attached to something that is not giving you. All right, I got some church up in here. You staying attached. Sometimes we outstay our welcome. My grandmother used to say that all the time. Never overstay your welcome. Baby, get your stuff and go. Get up and go. Okay? All right. So I am going to close us out exactly where we started, roommates. Okay? And so I'm taking us back to man, this is a great, you guys are, y'all the truth. Hey baby. That's our friend Miss Hall. That's her nickname. Hey there, baby. Love you, girl. Praying with you and for you. Hey Yvette, I love you, sister. Love you, sister girl. Yeah, real truth. It's you know, it is what it is, guys. We have to accept it at face value, and we have to detach from those things that are no longer suiting us. Gonna give us a Bible verse, and then I'm gonna give y'all a quick pep talk, and we up out of here. So I'm gonna take us to Romans 12:19, and so it advises us: never avenge ourselves, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, vengeance is His. He will repay those who have wronged us, says the Lord. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was time for a new start. I detached from them braids. I was tired of them braids. My hair was breaking out, but I was like, listen, I got to detach from this stuff because I need a new start. So I'm back on my short hair don't care journey, and I'm loving it already. Y'all know this hair going to change 1,000 colors, but I'm happy to be back on the land of the short hair side, okay? Roommates, we have to learn to put ourselves first, especially when we're in situations where others do not. We have to learn to detach from those things that, although we may have been attached for many, many years, you have to learn when to draw the line in the sand and to know and understand the time has come for detachment. Detachment is for your well-being. Detachment is for your emotional stability. Detachment is for your growth. Detachment is not meant to hurt you. Detachment is generally mutual, as is attachment. And detachment can help you see things clearer if and when you're able to break away from those bad habits, those situations that no longer suit you, those relationships that are one-sided. It is time that you stand in your truth, understand your self-worth, and to set boundaries that will set you up for a healthier self-care journey as we are all becoming. Roommates, I love you all. Tonight, like any other night that I spend with you, is a wonderful, wonderful gift. I appreciate you all so much, and I love you all. Good night.